So when we become parents, the way that we live our life, the way we show up in our lives, the people that we want to be, and our priorities change drastically. So I think if you're going back to work or you're starting a new job, then it's really important for you to take some time to get really clear on what your priorities are, because all unhappiness lies in not acting in accordance with your deeper core values. So a really nice exercise that you can do if you've not done anything like this before is you can go online and you can download a list of personal values and get really clear on your top 5. What is it that's important to you? So for example, my top one is always my physical, mental, and emotional well-being, because I'm a full-time single mum, and like if I go down, the whole ship's going down. So that's vitally important that I make space for myself. And then of course there's my family, and then of course unfortunately then is work. But then also, if we take into consideration the logistical nightmare of parenting and working, the other thing that we forget sometimes is that we're dealing with people, and we're so busy dealing with like packed lunches and picking up times that we forget that all of us have needs. So another thing is to make sure that you are factoring in some time for yourself, just to be you. Doing something you love or social time with your friends. Make sure that you have that, because you are not going to be the parent that you want to be or the person that you want to be, which is going to conflict with your values if you're not giving yourself what you need. And the other person to considering all of this, is, of course, the emotional needs of your children. Particularly in the first few years of life, where attachment is vital for their self-esteem and then becoming a wholehearted human being. So if you do have to take your children to childcare or anywhere, make sure that you are creating a space in the day that they know that they can rely on, that it's just for them. So whether they're playing game, where you're playing a game after tea, or you have a bit of time before bedtime, and you have a good chunk of time that they know that they have you, because the emotional well-being of your child is paramount for them becoming a secure and confident adult, which is, I'm guessing, your goal in life. And I think the last thing to think about is flexibility. I think as parents, we really need to be able to have the ability to flow like water, which we can't do if we're not giving ourselves what we need. There are going to be times when your children are sick. There are going to be times, as mine is, where we have to be flexible. Hi, Mitch. That was working. Thank you. We have to be, my case in point, we have to be able to flexible. Sometimes our kids need us, and that has to be taken into consideration. So when you're talking to your employer, it's really important that if you are the main carer, that you have to take that into consideration, that you have to be flexible so that they can be flexible. I think a lot of stress arises when people have set expectations, and then we get attached to the expectations of what's going to happen. And that's where stress is, but if they have an understanding that occasionally you might need to be flexible, and that you're prepared to make that up, that's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Don't forget the attachment. Don't forget yourself. Don't forget the emotional needs of your parent, and make sure that you are acting in alignment with your own values at all times. Thank you.